Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Brik. Today I am going to teach you about the types of foundation which are used in construction. First, let's see what is foundation. The foundation is the lowest load-bearing part of a building, which is one of the most important component of the building, which supports the whole structure, which is present below the ground level. Let's see the types of foundations. There are two types of foundation. The first one is shallow foundation and the second one is deep foundations. Shallow foundations are nothing in which the depth of the foundations are in smaller. The types of the shallow foundations are listed below. That is isolated footings, wall footings, combined footings, strap footings, and the last one is mat foundation. Similarly, deep foundation also having two types. The first one is pile foundation and the second one is spear or caisson foundation. First we are going to see about isolated footing. These isolated footings, also known as spread or pad footings, it is the simplest and most common type of foundation we are using. In isolated footings, each column has separate footings. These isolated footings are almost always in the shapes like square or rectangular, which makes easier to analyze and construct. This is one of the most common type of foundation that we are using. This is the pictorial representation of isolated footings, each column having the separate footing. This is the side picture of isolated footing. Next one is wall footings. Wall footings is also known as strip footing, which are used to support the weight from the walls, that means from load bearing and non-structural walls, to transmit and distribute the loads across an area of the soil. It is also one of the common type of foundations in which the soil has, and if the soil has an adequate load bearing capacity, this type of wall footings are used. This is a picture for wall footings. This is a side picture of wall footing. The next one is combined footing. This is similar to isolated footing. Combined footing is constructed and its structural loads are carried by columns. This type of footings is constructed when two or more columns are so close to each other. If two columns are so close to each other, this combined footing is provided. Because if you provide an isolated footing, it will overlap each other. Also, this type of footings are more economical and cheaper because it does not need separate footings, and these are also in different shapes, rectangular, trapezoidal shapes, depending on the size and location of the column supported by the footings. This is a picture for combined footing, two columns having single footing. It is called combined footing. This is the side picture for combined footing. The next one is strap footing. Strap footing is also known as cantilever footings. It is also basically two isolated footings are connected with the strap beams. These strap beams or strap footings are used when the distance between the isolated footing is large. If the distance between these two isolated footing is smaller, we can go to the combined footing. If the distance between the isolated footing is large, we can use this type of strap footing. This strap beam will reduce the effects of laterals in the same direction that it is running. This is the drawing for strap footing. Two isolated footings are connected by a strap beam. This is the side picture for a strap beam. The last type of shallow foundation is mat foundation. As the name implies, the mat foundation, also known as wrap foundation, It's a type of foundation which is spread across the area of the building and which will support the heavy loads from the columns or walls. If an area that to be constructed in weak soil, this type of mat foundation is used because in this type of foundation, this building loads are spread over an extreme large area, and it is not desirable to construct when the groundwater is above the bearing surface of the soil. If the soil is weak soil, then we can go through this type of mat foundations. This is the pictorial representation of mat foundation. This foundation is spread all over the area of the building and the column is presented in between them. And the next one is pile foundation. The purpose of foundation this type to transmit loads or forces from the superstructure to the ground without excessive settlement. This type of pile foundation is commonly used for projects that lie in the depths of weak or on a saturated soil where the excavation depth is not feasible for shallow depth. The depth is too large, and if the soil is saturated, then we have to go through this type of foundation, that is pile foundation. It will be very deeper than shallow foundations. This is the pictorial representation for pile foundation. This is a side picture for pile foundation. And then last type is pier or caisson foundation. This is also similar to single pile foundation, but its diameter of a pile column is much bigger than pile foundation. Caisson foundation are also installed differently. Unlike the pile foundation, the pier foundation are constructed by excavating and dredging the soil beneath the ground and filling it with concrete and steel reinforcement. This is the pier or caisson foundation. The pictorial representation for this pier foundation is given. This is a side picture for pier or caisson type of foundation. I hope you all get understood. Kindly subscribe and stay tuned for the upcoming videos. Let's see you again with a new topic. Thank you all.